Okay, Annebeck, who is 58 from, Annebeck58, who's 50 from Texas, the deep south, and claims two things. Count it. 1, 2. Right. That's enough. The first thing is that the African American civil rights movement was not just looking for civil rights for African Americans. The African American civil rights movement had nothing to do with civil rights for, not that they had nothing to do, but they were more than just civil rights for African Americans. The African American civil rights movement was more than just African American civil rights. The African American civil rights movement was more than just African American civil rights. The African American civil rights movement was concerned with just more than the African American civil rights. And is it sinking in? And African American civil rights. That's right, African American civil rights. African American, you got it? Is it starting to sink in? That's good. Right. On to point number 2. Up. There we go. Number 2. Number 2 is your view on Israel. Zionists, Zionism, or whatever. You, unlike a few other people on YouTube, actually have a mainly correct, correct view of what Zionism and Israel is. However, you misunderstand the conflict. For someone who's generally informed, and I do pick a fight with you, I'll probably get you right repaired. You know your history. Well, you know that the partition plan of 1947 was accepted by the majority of Jews, but not by the Arabs. And that it was in 1948 that the War of Independence started. And the Yom Kippur War was started by the Arabs. Sure, I acknowledge, just as any actual historian should, that there have been wars started by Israel. I'm not going to deny that. However, to call Israel a oppressive and occupational force is stretching the truth just a little too far. I'm guessing, because of your lack of knowledge, that you have never gone to Israel. Not surprised? Not too many people have. But to be talking about Israel and what Israel does from your computer chair in Texas or wherever the hell you want to be, it isn't Israel. It's a very comfortable position to be in. Because in Israel, and I know, and I say this from experience, and not just from the history book, which tells me that the Palestinians are poor and persecuted people now. Yeah, sure. That there's a conflict on both sides. Yet you, much like several other people, believe that this is a one-sided conflict, because one-sided conflicts go on for so long. So let's say we've got Hamas that doesn't accept the state of Israel. Yeah, well, no one accepts the state of Israel, I'm sorry. But everyone seems to hope for the Palestinian state. Right, so that should do us well. And let's go through this more. You say that the Zionist occupational force, yet most of the land has been offered back. You look at the Barak's deal, you look at what Yitzhak Rabin offered. All of them offered to completely hand over to Arafat. And he said no. So it seems that the unfortunate reality is the Arabic population, or the Palestinian population, it took them time to realize that they weren't going to get their one state as they hoped for. That they weren't going to be able to push the Jews into the sea, despite what their books were telling them to. It wasn't going to happen. So instead they decided to live as a persecuted people. They made their conscious choice, and I say that because Yasser Arafat turned down some fantastic peace offers. Hamas, also fantastic little organization. They're very good at delivering small explosive packages, or not so explosive, but large sheets of metal, over into their neighbor's backyard. I don't know about you, but any neighbor that threw large sheets of metal at my house, I'd want to get them kicked out, and I don't think that would be too unreasonable. If I go to your house and throw large chunks of sheet metal and explosives through your windows, through your roof, through your walls, you have 2 kids, if I hit one of them, if I cut off their legs, if I kidnap the other, and said, in return, I want 4,000 people, as the trades often work, and you work and work and work, and it's now his 4th birthday in captivity, and there's still not much work to do. So, welcome to the world of Gilad Shalit. As much as you want it to be, this conflict is not as simple as how you make it out to be. The fact of the matter is, there's more than one side, and you would understand this if you actually studied correct history, and if you had actually been to the area. And I justify this stance by saying that not only have I worked with Israelis, both Jewish and Arabic, but I've also worked with people from the territories in Palestine. I've worked with people from the West Bank, and I've seen what the Hamas government does, and I've seen what the Fatah government does, and neither of them are good, because Fatah doesn't get the money down to the people that need it the most. There are people suffering at the bottom of the Palestinian food chain, and it has nothing to do with Israel. It has to do with the fact that for several years when Fatah was in control, they did nothing to get the resources down. Hamas now gets the resources down quickly, but a lot of their money is spent on weaponry. And yet Israel is left to support Hamas and their fucked up decisions by letting Palestinians in and working for them. Any government in their right mind in that situation would be able to shut off their borders saying, we are not letting anyone in, and you can rot in your corpses because you keep attacking us. However, Israel doesn't do that. I mean, Israel occupies the West Bank, and I'm not happy about that. There is no Israeli presence in Gaza. You cannot blame the occupation for what's going on in Gaza. But Israel still lets Palestinians in to work. So now it's your turn to respond to this video, and all the best to you. I'm looking forward to myself coming up as a puppet. I won't be doing a back because I'm not very good at hand puppets. It must be your jewellery and bunnies, and all your time, your thinking. You've got such a creative energy. Shame you're putting it to the wrong use. So, let's see how you go. It is now your turn.